of my favorite characters, Chaz at Schmohz Brewery in Grand Rapids. Chaz might seem a bit intimidating, but you'll see he has a compassionate side and that he really knows how to entertain the ladies. All on this episode of The Great American Brew Trail. My name is Amy Sherman. I'm a chef, I'm a mom, and I'm a beer drinker. Shocking, I know. That's right, I'm a girl who really likes beer.
Out of the way, boys. What are we drinking?
I mean, why wouldn't I drink beer? As a chef, I love the variety of local ingredients, and I appreciate what it takes to create a great beer. In fact, I've been a home brewer for years. All across the United States, microbreweries are popping up with plenty of atmosphere, plenty of local foods, and of course, plenty of beer. We'll see the ins and outs and the ups and downs behind the taps at some of the country's best microbreweries. So join me on the Great American Brew Trail as I taste my way across the USA, one pint at a time. Michigan's second largest city, Grand Rapids, is known as the Furniture City, the home to Art Prize, a great place to raise a family, and more recently as Beer City, USA. A tiny little brewery located right on the edge of the city limits played its part in GR winning this title, Schmohz Brewery, where it might feel like you're drinking in your dad's basement, but the beer is much, much better here. And you get to drink with Chaz.
Chaz, Schmohz has been around for a while, but prior to it being Schmohz, it was another brewery. It was one of the first breweries in town, Robert Thomas. And I heard that some of this equipment came from Robert Thomas. Is that correct?
Yeah, the equipment came from Robert Thomas. The guys, Rob and Tom, purchased this equipment, and they bought this really, really nice Century equipment. Unfortunately, Century's out of business, so the only way anybody else can get this nice of equipment is to buy it on the secondary market.
And you got it, and so you have some of the best equipment in town.
Yeah, when other guys come over and look at our equipment, there's a lot of jealousy.
They turn green with envy.
Well, we hope not green. That's a sign that things aren't clean. But
they turn good, right?
But we like it's a steam jacketed system, so we don't have the direct fire problems that some of the small guys have, where you got to be very careful about how high you turn your flame and things like that. Steam gives you very even, easy heat, so it's very controllable.
How did you get your start as a brewer? Did you always know you wanted to be a brewer?
Well, back in college, it's always the joke with everybody. Someday we're going to get a brewery. Well, my partners here at Schmohz and I, we had that dream. And in fact, two of the guys on their drive up to Michigan Tech, they pretty much laid out how it was going to happen. And we're the lucky guys that it came true for, that we got our brewery.
I think these guys at Schmohz learned something up at Michigan Tech.
I think the thing that makes Schmohz really unique and different, especially in the West Michigan area, is that they're a smaller brewery with a lot of production capacity. They've started out small and have grown slowly. It's been a grassroots operation as they've gone on.
Watch out, parents. College is like a breeding ground for future brewers.
We still see all of our old Michigan Tech buddies because we're all Michigan Tech owned. Our investors are all Michigan Tech alumni.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And that's why in our tap room you're going to see nothing but Michigan Tech stuff, except for the bartender, and she's partial to Michigan State.
It always comes down to the beer, and Chaz makes the beer that he likes.
Well, our first thing is we better like the beer. Because if Jim and I don't like the beer, we're not making that beer. That's why there's certain styles that you won't see at Schmohz. And there's other styles that maybe you've never heard of before that we embrace here.
And which ones, can you name me some of those?
Well, Zingabrine is probably the classic of that. It's a ginger gruit. Gruits existed before beer. Before the Ryan's GABT, there was all kinds of herbs and spices and things put into beer. Well, back in 2008, we had a big problem in the industry with hops, and there weren't hops. And the ones that were around were very, very expensive. So we thought, well, what about an unhopped beer? And we said, well, that's a gruit. And we said, well, what's our favorite gruit? We tried a lot of things, and what we ended up with is a very simple ginger beer that's infused with ginger instead of hops. Mm-hmm. And then we put a little kiss of chocolate malt in there just to make it really palatable.
Oh, interesting.
What's not to love at Williams Kitchen and Bath? Do you always find yourself looking for more cabinet space? Does it feel like you need more room for all the chefs in your house? If so, it's time to visit Williams Kitchen and Bath. Williams offers the best selection from top cabinet makers. Stop in today and experience the Williams difference.
What's not to love at Williams Kitchen and Bath?
At Schmohz, it's sometimes about a lot more than beer.
So one other thing we want to ask you about is the root beer. And I love your root beer. And it has a good story behind it too.
Well, we started out making root beer because the boss's kids were young enough that they felt we wanted a family-friendly place. We wanted the atmosphere that people could bring their kids in and no problem. And the root beer really came out of that idea. We need something for the kids that we make.
But it has a great name.
Well, we tried a few different names, nothing really took off. The Sammy Ray Foundation is named after their daughter, who was born with a terminal illness. And I think she made it to about 12 years old. And after she got that far, there was nothing they could do, and we lost Sammy. Well, their family decided the best tribute they could do is to form this foundation that made sure that families with a terminally ill child would never lose their homes. Whether they got to pay the mortgage, the power bill, whatever, so that whatever happens with that child, the family can come home.
Right.
We heard that, we decided, here's our cause. And we actually make donations to the Sammy Ray Foundation from the sales of the root beer and now the black cherry soda as well.
So Chaz, will you help me host a beer dinner for my friends tonight?
Yeah, I think we can do that.
Think you can do that? Okay.
I got some beer. You got some friends?
I got some friends.
All right.
I'm gonna head out shopping and get some food for my beer dinner and bring it on in here to Schmohz, and then we're gonna drink together with my girlfriends.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Not every great brewery has a kitchen, but that doesn't mean you have to go hungry. Food and beer go together like cheese and crackers. So I'm gonna go pick some snacks up and have Chaz help me pair up some beer and food for my friends. Pairing? I don't think so.
I'm here to get the stuff for my antipasta platter, one of the easiest things you can make if you're entertaining. All you have to do is walk up to the deli counter, ask them to slice some of their cured Italian meats, which they'll do for you, package them up, and when you get home, spread them all out on a platter. Oh, it looks great. Thank you so much.
The food doesn't have to be fancy, just make sure it's good. Don't insult your beer by making it hang out with bad food. Keep it simple and ask the brewer for recommendations. Most brewers love to talk about their beer, and Chaz is no exception.
I'm just going to bring out part of our Brewer's Six collection. The bottles are on the table. We put this out in a 6-pack of 6 different beers in one carrier. It's perfect when you're having a little party and you don't know what people are drinking. You don't know what they like and things like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to start on the malty side, and then we're going to build up into that gray area of things that who knows, whether it's really malty or is it hoppy, that transition to the balance. And then we're going to go on to some big hopness. What we're going to start out with is the amber teas.
Schmohz!
All right, ladies, keep up on the beer because I brought another one.
Oh boy. Where's the one for the girls?
Next beer that I brought out is Treasure Chest. Treasure Chest is an extra special bitter, or an ESB. Not a lot of people make them correctly. We win medals for ours, so we must be doing something right.
So Chaz, what's this beer that we're trying now?
We're trying the Pale Ale. It's an American Pale Ale. We're getting into hoppy beers, and this one has great floral characteristics, so you're going to get a lot of nose of the flower of the hop. And hops really are just a flower. Well, we extract the oils, and this particular variety of hop that we're using in this beer gives us those floral characteristics.
Now, my editor made me cut out all of the fun parts of this party. But trust me, this was one rockin' party. And Chaz was a most knowledgeable and fun host.
I'll drink to that.
What was your favorite here at Schmohz?
Mine was the Bone Crusher.
The Bone Crusher. This was my favorite too. This is a no-joke stout.
My favorite was the Hop Knocker.
And what did you like about it?
I like the hoppy flavor, and it's a very smooth finish.
I like the Zinger Bering. Mine was the Pale Ale.
And what did you like about it?
Well, I love spicy food, so after a very spicy meal, I love drinking this beer because it calms down the taste buds.
By the time we got to the second one, which was the treasure chest, that one was really paired well with the food.
I couldn't decide. I had an absolute Olympic tie.
Really?
I absolutely
Okay,
did.
so which ones were your two favorites?
My two favorites. One is right here. I've got the India Pale Ale, and this was a nice surprise.
The Gruit.
The Gruit was really fun because I pictured myself on a beach, just kind of sipping away all day long.
Chaz, we can't thank you enough for hosting our Women's Night Out tonight. We had a great time, and not only was it so much fun, but it was so educational. I learned so much about beer, and especially about Schmohz beer. It was great. Cheers to Chaz. Cheers! So the next time you're in Grand Rapids, whether it's for a quick beer after a hard day at work or for a raucous ladies' night out, stop in at Schmohz Brewery, where they brew up great beer and a great time any night of the week.
Finesse to like survive, you know? So,
Right, and a lot of pretzels.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, look how cloudy that is.
And it's going to be bubbly and effervescent. That's the yeast. So I'm going to allow you the honors here to try it in high poison.
Love my job.
And you can really see the yeast floating around in
Yeah,
there.
you can.
I'll drink to that.
This is becoming one of my favorite beers.
Why is Renee under the table?
That was all.
Thank you, Chaz.
Cheers.